I dare you to fix me.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Moldone. I am a Cameroonian YouTuber and I'm making this video from the town of Yaoundé. Today my friend and I decided to meet at this beautiful cafe. It's located at Monte-Anne Rouge in Yaoundé, and to just share a drink and talk about something that is very close to both our hearts. We love books, we love to read, and so that's exactly what we'll be doing today. And also I'll be reviewing a novel that I just read, which is really amazing. It's called Stay With Me. So as I get to this cafe, my friend is already there, but I'm just going to give you guys a little tour to know, like, if you're looking for a place to work. It's like a cafe where you could sit down and work. You can also find something little to eat or to drink. You should definitely check out this place. Fine place. Oh, your drink there. So this right here is my next read, and I'm excited for it. This is what I just finished, and woof, the emotions, sis. Ayobami Adebayo. Sis, you wrote your life in this book. Sweet.
Yeah, right up to his house with us. And she thought was going to marry her so bad. She said all these things here.
Whoa.
Like she would cook. She had a cook and she fired them.
He fired them.
Fired them, yeah.
So she was accepting now that even if they marry her, will she continue?
Yeah. You know, at least it was encouraging. So she just felt, okay, maybe he wants this, that. Can I handle it home? And can I pick up the house?
So they think of the house, is that the case as of
Let me see if we can watch close with them before. So, like, and he like fresh everything. It was sometimes per week that maybe a compliment is done. Like, you know, maybe like this riser has to be you don't want to
so, okay.
It's interesting. I don't even know, even it's my songs that I love like this. I don't think this is my love can reach this level. I don't think I'm a lover that bad.
In love.
Every day I feel, oh my gosh, I think I'm such a deep lover. I just don't even know where to find books to read or what to read. Yeah. That after I do maybe the review of a book on my website or whatever podcast now, I can now put at the end that for those in Cameroon, the book is available. Contact this number for the book. That people, as actually, it's like, bro.
Oh yeah.
That people will.
I actually know people who sell books on Instagram. So most of the time, people sell like self-help books, but not novel. I feel I'm tired of self-help books.
I don't even read self-help books. Like, it's not really good. I know. Top Gun, like, for me, that was the best thing that came out this year, better than Woman King or Canada. I don't need to be somebody of the Navy to relate to like Top Gun. It was as simple as maybe having discipline, being able to do something when you're scared. Like, there were lessons that anybody can relate to, and that's why Top Gun was the best. Woman King was a very female one, which is good. That was it was meant women empowerment, female energy. That was it. That was it. But the thing is, like, we are not in a world where female voices dominate. At the end of the day, Top Gun was still, and not even, and it's even about women. Top Gun was just good sense.
I haven't watched it. Is it on Netflix?
No, not very good. But this kind of movies can even be on. I mean, not now. Maybe like 8 years.
When is it not now?
Now, because it's like the cinema that produced it, right? So and that's what they make their money. It's a movie since a year.
Oh, okay.
But for movies to stay at the movies for a year, it means people are watching it. And even the day I went to watch it, it wasn't really empty. I watched it like last month. My brother watched it like since January when it came out. And he told me, he's like, no, that the things that I was like, which for you, what was the best movie this year? Because like, honestly, things are Top Gun, Maverick. And like that's also one thing about acting is that when you read, for me the novels, when you read the African novels and the white novels, it's like there is like each person that wrote it, like, is just in their element. I don't think the white person could have written this book like this.
Yeah.
When you read this one, you will see the details of it. Maybe like she lives in a small village in Ghana, she went to town. The way people in town, in the village, look at those in town. The way those in town act, maybe like she's hanging out with these guys that are from bush fallers, the kind of things they naturally talk about. It's like, for example, even just me, the way maybe when I hang out with these guys, and I hang out with like my friends, it's like the conversations will be different. They will highly ask something that also what I've been up to when I'm going back. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sure it's going to be crazy when I get here. Asking that things will be crazy. They already know, yeah. So no, this book was I think one of the best books I've read this year started.
Really?
Yeah, it was very
like, this is nice. I like the fact that it evoked a lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions.
There was death, there was love, there was politics, there was fear, there was intrigue, there was
cheating.
There was cheating.
Things that are natural.
There was,
and I like the way, because most of the times when African, now I like.
It almost felt that the book needed to be longer. I felt like she jumped from.
It was too fast.
Yeah, like she got.
There was transitions that were not really understood.
Really, yeah.
Many times, yeah. That's so true.
But I also like that she hung certain things in the air. It almost felt as if you had to read to the end and then be like, oh my god, what was she? So that's what she wanted to meet. Like, this is what she was trying to display here, you know. And I like the suspense in which she started. She started at the end of the novel. So she's starting in just 28. And then the next chapter is 1955, I guess. So she takes us back.
I like that.
There are also some mistakes here, Sha.
Of course. Of course. Like this.
There's some mistakes. Because I actually took some time to calculate because I'm thinking 2008 minus 19, this minus 1953 is 23 years.
Yeah.
So I was saying that she and this guy were married for 23 years before she's coming back right after 23 years. However, she's saying that if you take this minus, you have 23 years. She was in jail for 15 years, so minus 15 years. That means that her child was 8 years when she left. And that child was not 8 years in the story. The child was a toddler.
I haven't even finished the book, but I never read that there was a child that grew up. I know when I ended, I just know that the children were like really small. Yeah.
You have not finished? Let me not spoil it for you. Let me not spoil it for you.
I don't even know what happened. I was going to speak
it's so nice.
In the middle of, I have to read it all over again. I have to read it all over.
You should.
To read it all over for probably like.
But actually see your these things right onto the end, and you're sure you're not finished?
No, it's not. It's like right till around here, right?
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what they did.
Yeah, and I feel like the other part is when.
Stop using markers here. Better use pencils and these things. Because people then you cannot exchange the books.
I'm telling you, meanwhile I can
use these things like this.
I will do that. Come and put in my library. I will do that. Next year I actually want to work on something. I actually want to work in. Because when you told me that I didn't need a big place for a library, I could go somewhere and be like, I want to put my library and put my.
I personally think that you don't even need a place in town for a library. What you need is a big space. And the big space does not have to be in town. That's the mistake that you're making. I understand it. Yeah. So, for example, where your house is right could have been a possible place. Like, okay, take the upstairs parlor and then turn it into a library. Yeah. And then make like people can read outside and everything like that. Now, in the beginning, you don't have to let everybody. It's not a public place. it's like a membership thing where it's like friends and friends of friends. So okay, if I want access to my news library, I'm going to pay you 10,000 francs a month. I understand. So what you're doing is that you're growing your
my audience.
Your audience. So that the day that you actually have money now to have like the library, you carry that audience along. But the thing is that you want a place in town, you want to rent a place. This is a good enough angle. I was talking to you guys about this book, which is my latest read before my phone went off, and I don't even know exactly where I ended, but I don't want to start from the beginning because I gave it my all the first time around, so I'm just hoping that it captured enough. Anyways, I was talking about this book and just how the writer, she looks very young, by the way. Her name is Ayobami Adebayo. I hope that I got the pronunciation right, because he has like a lot of intonations. I'm not Yoruba, I'm not even Nigerian. Anyways, it's such a good book. It's called Stay With Me, and I like that the title of the book actually matches the book, because sometimes people just want exotic titles that even after reading the book you don't see how that title matches the book, you know, or the storyline or the film. You know, people just be using titles that are catchy and don't exactly go with the book. But this one, the book is about 260 pages. I read it all in one day, I would say, or 1.5 day out, something like that. The first day I was quite distracted, so I didn't have time to read it. I was up and about. It's a really good book. There's so much emotions invested in this book. This woman, there is death, there is love, there is betrayal, there is frustration, there is recoil, there's intrigue, there is passion, there's just so much. There's innocence, there's naivety, there's just a lot of things that come into play. There's also a bit of politics in it, like the whole, there's just passion in a lot of ways, like passion in love, passion in, there's also I don't know, the book is just really rich. It's very, very intense. There's also one thing that I feel like there's some mistakes in the book also, and the mistakes is more like the timing. Sometimes she says 5 years later, but 5 years later is not really 5 years later. I don't know how to explain that properly, but like I feel like she should have done better with the timing of the novel, or the managing of the timing with the novel. But overall, this is a book that I 100% recommend. It's the kind of book that you start reading and you don't want to put it down. It's really, really, the story is very compelling. It's the kind of book that you want to know how it finishes. It's not the kind of book that you read and then at some point you're just like, oof, I can't do this anymore. Like, you have to finish the book type situation. And also, one thing that really hits me is that this is her debut novel. For somebody, for this to be somebody's debut, this feels like somebody who has been writing for long. It feels like a Daniel Steele novel. The amount of emotion that she captures in this book is the kind of book that you read and you cry. You're like, oh my God, what did this happen? The kind of book that you read and you get to some point, you read something, you're like, Jesus Christ. You know? You put it down and you're like, the heart of man is wicked. Like, you get invested. You get invested in the book. You read a book and you feel like, oh my God, you put yourself in the main character's shoe. You're like, how could this happen? If this thing happens to me, what am I going to react? What am I going to do? I'll be so betrayed. Like, she captures the emotions really well. And she, oh my God, she really puts her, like, bro, if you can lay your hands on this book, please read it. Read it. I don't know where you can get it from in Cameroon. A friend literally gave it to me. I had to read it as quickly as possible to give it back to her. But I'm going to try as much as possible to be able to put a link where you can actually get this book from, because I mean, it makes no sense that I'm talking about it and you guys can't read it. I'm going to pass on to the very next book, and I hope that when I read that one too, I can explain it to you guys and tell you guys what is taking place. Wow. First of all, the setting of this book is in Nigeria. It's in Isela, Jos, and Ife, and a bit of Lagos. So it's cute, it's nice, I like it. This book is a good book. Stay with me. I hope
hope that I really explained to you why you should read this book without actually telling you guys anything in the book, without spoiling it for anybody. But like, guys, also it's an easy read. Like, her language is easy to read. There's no overuse of big words, It's not the kind of book that you have to read one page, check a dictionary, read one page, check a dictionary. Her style of writing is a bit trickish, but the language is easy. Like, she writes in a way that is like, okay, yes, sure, okay, I see you. But the words are easy. She did a good job. Okay, guys, let me see you guys when I've read the next book, and then we'll talk about it too. Imagine if you see things. Sucking everybody. Tricking. Like, it's a tricking part. Sucking is like, I feel like, no, maybe it's unnecessary. For me, that cooking is they're trick. They're tricking. It's a tricking that I cannot. Sucking the chef and the guy. Okay, maybe it's
I've already